Come on, my love. We're gonna talk about your reflux. What are you dancing to? There's not even any music on. Ma'am. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Jordan and I have a 9-month-old named Aaron. Say hi, my love. So, bear with me because it is Aaron's nap time. And I tried to put her down and she only went down for 20 minutes. And now she's a little hyper. So I'm not sure if she's gonna like hit a wall here or she's just on some sort of like high right now. But I'm gonna try and get through this without her getting extra fussy because she is tired. I can tell she's just fighting it. So if you are watching this video, then you might need some information on reflux in babies, maybe like a milk protein allergy or possibly GERD. Aaron has all of these things, and I really wanted to sit down and film this video to go ahead and get her story out there because I wanted to let other parents know if they're going through this, the options that they have and kind of what we went through with Aaron as far as like her symptoms and her behavior and how we helped her and some of the things that worked for her and some of the things that didn't. I'm going to go over all of that with her. So she is 9 months now, but I would say that we didn't get her reflux and allergies under control till she was probably 6 months. She's gonna also, I have the camera on a tripod and it's just, I'm brave for doing that, especially having her just like walk around freely. So let me just pull up my notes that I have. Oh, Aaron Nicole. So let me just pull up the notes that I have. So we'll start with when Aaron was a newborn. Now I understand. Now I know that all babies spit up, but I would say that Aaron's spit up was borderline vomit, and her spit up was very painful to her. I thought it was a normal thing because we were in and out of her pediatrician's office. I want to say like weekly when she was a newborn because I kept going in there and I kept telling her pediatrician, look, I'm nursing her well and she is spitting up all the way till it's time to eat again. And the pediatrician just kept saying, you know, that's normal. She did tell us that she was a very colicky baby. And so you look up colic and it's kind of like, well, only time is going to help out a colic baby. They just have to get stronger and grow out of the fussiness stage. And so that's what I believed. I just believed that she was a very colicky baby. When she would spit up, you could tell it was painful to her because she would arch her back. She would scream. She would cry nonstop, basically. And then, like I said, she would spit up all the way till it was time for me to nurse her again. So I think that she was, partially it was painful, her spit up. And then another part of it could have been out of hunger because I couldn't even tell you what was being held down in her system. Aaron Nicole, what are you doing? So that's how the newborn stage, I would say 0 to 3 months went with her. I couldn't lay her flat on her back. Aaron, I could not lay her flat on her back. We did try the wedge under the crib mattress. She couldn't even do that. The only way that she slept, honestly, was either on me or my husband's chest. And we had to be, she had to be upright, more upright than not. So it was pretty tough trying to get some sleep on those newborn days. So besides the, inconsolable nights and just the fussiness in her behavior, she also had really bad eczema and mucousy stools. Her stools almost looked like there was actual like snot in them. So and I thought that was normal as well, just because she was breastfed. So not till she was 4 months, and me and Taylor were basically in and out of her pediatrician's office weekly, did the pediatrician go ahead and give her something called Renadin, which is the generic Zantac. Now, the Renadin took about a week to get into her system, and then once it was in, it still only worked for about a week. We really only saw a difference in her for, oh yeah, I want to say for only a week, and then she kind of went back to square one. So that was, so that really sucked, because we thought, oh, okay, great, she's going to get on reflux medicine. This is going to help to hold down my milk in her, and she won't be as fussy because she'll be satisfied. She'll be able to sleep. This is going to be great. And it just did not, did not go that way. So once we realized that that wasn't working and the doctor didn't want to give her anything else, we still just kind of gave it time. I still continued to only breastfeed her. Now, at the same time, me and Taylor did as much research as we could do. We were on, I think, like every single parenthood forum. I was on the mommy vlogs, the motherhood pages, all of these things, doing my own research, and so much stuff came up. But you know, you only know as much as your health provider is going to tell you. You know, you trust their medical advice and their medical opinion. So that's what we went off of. So at around 6 months, we were kind of looking into formula at this point, not because my supply had taken a hit or anything, but we thought, well, formula is thicker. Let's go ahead and try and introduce her to some formula and see if it could help us at least at night. You know, give her a bottle of formula at night. We have other parent friends who were telling me, there were a couple of mothers at my job that were telling me, well, just give her a bottle of formula at night, because that's what they would do, and it would help their babies to sleep. So we did decide to give her a bottle of formula, and it wasn't at night. Luckily, it was during the day. My husband actually gave her, I want to say like 4 ounces of formula, and she had a really, really, really bad reaction. I mean, it was so severe. It sent her, it sent her to the ER, and then from there, she was admitted into the hospital for several days. So the reaction was, again, vomiting, but it was nothing like the usual vomit that she would do. It was projectile. It was very aggressive. It shot across the room, and then she kept on vomiting. You could tell. Oh, I'm sorry. Here. Did I take? Here you go, my love. I'm sorry. Why are you dancing? There's no music. You are so silly. So during this episode, or this reaction to formula, she became lethargic. She was very weak, and then she actually started to turn blue because she was without oxygen for so long, because the vomiting was just back to back, and there was no time in between for her to catch her breath. She was very lethargic, very weak, and they wanted to go ahead and admit her for testing and to kind of see what caused this, because it wasn't normal. It wasn't spit up. It was vomiting, and it was, like I said, very aggressive. It was very, very scary to see her like that. And you know, as a parent, you kind of just start to think to yourself, what have I done? Like, you know, we were introducing her to formula because we thought it would help, and it hurt her. So when we were in the hospital, they kind of just went over her entire medical history, the history of her symptoms, her behavior as a newborn, and this was when she was 6 months, and they had told me that I needed to go ahead. They did do a diaper testing, and they told us that I needed to go ahead and go dairy-free. So I kept up with nursing her, and I went dairy-free. Now at the hospital, they also told us that she fell off. She was falling off her growth curve. She had fallen off of it. She was initially at the 14th percentile for weight, and she had dropped down. Oh my goodness. She's dancing on the tripod. Erin Nicole, if your father could see you right now, you'd be in big trouble. So she had fallen off her growth curve. She was down to the 1 percentile, and that wasn't a good thing. And she was steadily just dropping. So they needed to keep her longer because, you know, at that point you're worried about like malnourishment, dehydration, the nutrients that she's receiving. So they wanted me to go ahead and exclusively pump. That way they could monitor and document the intake versus output. So her input versus output. So I exclusively pumped while we were in the hospital, and we bottle fed her every 2 hours, 3 ounces of my milk. And under this, you know, different feeding method, it really helped her. There was still a lot of spit up. She was still on the Renadin, but she had gained the amount of weight that the doctors wanted to see while we were there. So we were discharged. Now, while we were there, they tested her for something called Pyloric Stenosis, and she didn't have that. And if you don't know what that is, you can look it up, but the testing was through ultrasound, and it showed that she didn't have that. So when we were discharged, I kept up with pumping and bottle feeding her. I went dairy free, and me and my husband quickly realized that it's not so easy to be truly dairy free. I would do really well, and then all of a sudden I would have a slip up because either I wasn't thinking or I didn't realize that something had dairy in it. And if you truly try and go dairy free, you'll soon realize that a lot of things contain dairy. So we started to introduce her to Similac Alimentum, which is what we thought was dairy free. Well, it turns out it's not 100% dairy free. So she had another reaction to that, and it was nothing like the one that sent her to the hospital. It wasn't even really vomit. It was just really bad spit up and fussiness, and she had a rash again. Her diapers went kind of back to how they were as a newborn, and we knew, you know, crap, she can't even tolerate Alimentum. So there was one weekend where she had spit up so much, and I think she actually did do a true vomiting episode. And again, nothing like the one that sent her to the hospital. But during this episode, when she would spit up a lot or even vomit, she would go on like hunger strike. So she wouldn't eat anything. She didn't want to drink any milk. I couldn't even give her a Pedialyte, and I know it's because Erin is such a smart baby that I know she would put like 2 and 2 together, and she would realize that if I drink this, it's gonna come up and hurt me. So I know that that's what she was doing when she would go on hunger strike. So it had been almost an entire day that I couldn't get any fluids in her, or for her to, you know, take any. So Erin Nicole. So I went ahead and took her to the ER. I didn't take any chances. I went ahead and took her to the ER. The ER pediatrician had told me that the Renadin that she was on for her reflux wasn't nearly enough of a dosage to cover her now that she, you know, was gaining weight. And on top of that, she needed to be switched from the Renadin to Nexium. The Renadin, I want to say, is a blocker, and the Nexium is a blocker, but it will also help to heal the damage that the reflux had done to her esophagus and her stomach. The Renadin wasn't doing that for her, so the Nexium would give her a chance to heal. So he went ahead and switched her on that, and then on top of that, he told me that she needed to be on Elecare, which Elecare is a formula that is truly dairy-free. It's actually amino acid based, so it doesn't contain any traces of dairy at all. Now, once we did this switch with her, it took a while, obviously, for the Nexium to get into her system and the Elecare, for the Alimentum to leave and the Elecare to do its job. Well, under these 2 switches, we got a brand new baby, basically. She was a whole different baby. She was happy. She was not fussy. She slept so well. Her stools were normal. She actually started to drink more during one feeding. She actually upped to about 4 ounces of formula, where before that we were on 3 ounces of breast milk. And then she started gaining weight rapidly. I mean, she was catching up for all that time. And then like I said, she was just a whole new baby. Her personality started to come through. She never fell behind in milestones, but it was almost like when we did this switch, she just took off. Like the sky was the limit for her under these 2 things. And we're so thankful and for that ER pediatrician, because he truly knew what he was doing with her. And on top of that, we actually switched her pediatricians to him, to that ER pediatrician that weekend. That's now her primary pediatrician. And looking back, I think that we probably should have switched way before that. But, you know, as a parent going through this, it can be very tiring and defeating, and to watch your child eat and then vomit all the way up until it's time to feed them again, it's it hurts. It's challenging. It is very challenging. It takes a toll on you. And I just want to say, if you're a parent going through this with your child, I'm sorry, I did forget to mention that the GI doctor, after that that ER pediatrician visit, did confirm that she had GERD. And then if you look GERD up, it's basically a child that vomits after every feeding, and she did have that. But if you're a parent going through this with your child right now, or suspect they may have any of these things, don't be afraid to ask as many questions to your pediatrician. Don't be afraid to get a second opinion, and just know that time will tell what your child needs. And you know, don't lose hope. There is, you know, help for your child. There are medications out there. There are so many formulas. Every baby is different, and I've been there, and I know that it can feel like you don't know what you're doing, or like you are not giving your child the help that they need. And it's hard as a parent to feel that way, but you're not alone. You are not alone. There are so many parents out there going through this. There are so many, you know, babies out there going through this. And if there's any other way that I can help you besides, you know, this video, the information I provided here, don't be afraid to message me or comment. I will be on YouTube replying to comments as I post this. So I did kind of tell this story solely based off of memory, so there could be some things that I forgot to mention, or some details that I left out. And if I have, I will put that down in maybe the description bar to provide you with more information. And then, like I said, don't be afraid to reach out to me. I will leave my social media accounts in the description bar as well, so you can message me on there, and I will answer any questions and help any more that I can. So thank you guys for watching and listening to Erin's story, and we hope that this has helped some of you out there. Okay, bye. Say bye, my love. Bye. Say bye. Bye.